Well, I live on the northeast coast of England, and that is as cold as it sounds.
This is the longest feeling summer that I ever recall living in my life.
Well, you could send some over to me because we're quite cold. Yeah.
So you say, so I'm trying to get my screen figured out here. So when you say cold, like how cold is it?
We've got, well, we're at 15 degrees here, so it's 15, 30, 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
That sounds lovely, actually. That's not too bad.
That's a good day to us.
Yes. Yeah. So do you have a lot of wind? Also, you said you're on the coast.
Yeah, the sea is there. The sea is about, I don't know, 50 feet away from me over there.
That is amazing. So I grew up. Well, I'm from the West Coast. I'm from Oregon, and so I had the Pacific Ocean about 60 minutes directly west of me. And I remember the first time I went there, I think I was in maybe 5th grade, so I was about 10 years old, and I thought that the beach, I thought I was going to like the California, sand and sun and beach and all that stuff. Mm. We got to the Oregon coast, and it was windy and cold, and just everybody had their hoods up. I was young and dumb at the time. I'm just old and dumb, but 10 years old, so I went. Of course, I was like, "Hey, I'm at the ocean. I'm getting in." So I was the only one that went ran in the ocean and was freezing afterwards, but it was worth it, and I got in. But yes, it was not what I expected.
It's beautiful, though. It's very beautiful and very dramatic. I mean, it's always different.
Dramatic is the word.
Yeah.
You nailed it with dramatic. That was perfect. Well, thank you for joining me, Miss Ruth. I didn't realize at the time that it was going to be midnight your time when you agreed to join.
Well, I turned into a pumpkin. You know why.
I'm sure that you may have been called worse over the years. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
I really do appreciate it, and everybody that's joining along with us. So, Scam Haters United, why don't you kind of tell us what you do, who you are, tell us about you.
Well, I'll go back to when we started, when I started, because it all started off, I found romance scams when, brief history, my husband died in 2008.
Sorry to hear that.
Police officer for 30 years, you know. I used to work with the police. I was a radio dispatcher in control room. So he retired, and I retired with him. Sadly, he got cancer and died. And it was a year or two, I think, after that, I went on Facebook, and I put widowed as status. It's not a nice word, so you don't put it easy. And then all of a sudden, I was very attractive to 4-star generals. Now, I was extremely lucky because my first scammer, or the first one that tried on me, was rubbish. He was useless. And I kept thinking, well, what is he on about? You know, really, what's he on about? So I let him go for quite a while. And, you know, I Googled the life out of everything. So I did. And I discovered way back then, we're going back 11 years, romance scams.
Yeah.
Now, the thing was, basically, it's not that I was bored. I had the time to do something about it. And I was offended because I sat there, I was a widow, and they were looking for me. Yeah. And they wanted to still, you know, they were pretending to be somebody else, and they wanted to steal money from me. So I got offended by it.
Right.
So I had a good look around, did a lot of research, and found out a lot about it, spoke to a lot of scammers, you know, just did everything. And then I couldn't find a page. I sort of kept joining people's pages and wanted to warn, because I kept thinking, well, if you get contacted by these pictures.
You were looking for somebody like you are now.
Yeah, and I couldn't find anybody.
Yeah.
So it was just one particular night I was, you know, sort of thinking, well, you know, if you can't. So I started to make a Facebook page. And basically the name was sort of a throwaway name. I was watching, I like sport, I was watching television at the time, Scam Haters, because by that time, boy, did I hate them. And United, because I was watching football. Now, at this point, I will say it's the football with the round ball.
Right.
Yeah, you don't. You carry it and throw it.
But I picked up what you said, though.
Yeah. So it was football. And, you know, United is a team. It's a team effort.
Yeah.
And that's how you win, being a team. And
Yeah.
so that's how the name came along. And it just, I was shocked when I started the page. The first 10 people I got reading it, I thought, oh, wow, and I was just so shocked. So I made a Google page so that people could search. And we've got YouTube, we've got Instagram, just basically to catch people.
Yeah.
What we do is quite simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in depth. We don't go fighting scammers. We don't go hunting for scammers. We help victims.
Yeah.
So basically that's how it's just grown. It's just completely grown from there.
Yeah. And you guys are pretty big. Just on Instagram, I think I've seen you've got 20,000 on here, right? And I don't Facebook much anymore, but
we've got 43,000 on Facebook.
And what you do is amazing. Just how you helped me get back. That's how I came in association with you guys. I started my Instagram page out of necessity. I was a recruiter for the Army in Springfield, Missouri. I saw Missouri a couple of times. What's up to my Missouri peeps? But I had to do the Instagram page for that. And I remember the first time, it was another recruiter, I think, from another office, said, hey, somebody's using your pictures. And I thought it was so weird at first. Yeah. It was just like taboo feeling. I felt like, what? Why? It's crazy. Somebody else. And this was like 5 years ago now, I guess, if not more. And then it just like, there was another one. And then before I knew it, there was like a dozen fake accounts. And then before I knew it was 50 and then 100. I'd say I'm at 400 fake accounts. That's just me, people using my pictures. And to you guys, though, that's like, I'm not even a blip to you guys. You guys deal with people that like 4-star generals, sergeant majors. Like at first I thought, I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
oh yeah, they're all the same to us, Dustin. They're all the same.
I understand. Yeah. Well, I used to report the fake accounts of me straight to Instagram. Yeah. And that kind of flags you over and over. And then I guess the people who were pretending to be me, they got mad at me and were reporting me for being me. And I got taken down for impersonation. Yeah. Like I did. And there was nothing I could do. And you can't just pick up the phone and call Instagram and say, hey, man, you guys got it wrong. No. So I had to develop another account. And then I reached out to the Military Fresh people. Jimmy, I believe, at Military Fresh and Army Fresh and Military Fresh, great people. And I said, hey, this is what's going on. And they're the ones who put me in contact with you. And right away, I mean, I can't speak enough goodness about you guys. Like right away, you're like, hey, we'll take care of it. You verified, you made sure it was me. Yeah. And then right away, I think it took a week or two to get my account back. And then you said, hey, just send us the fakes. We'll send them to Instagram and have them taken down.
So much safer. Yeah.
And it doesn't flag me at all.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. If you want to, I'll shut my trap for a second and let you talk. And I'm going to catch up and see if I missed any questions. But that's how I came to meet you guys. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a normal thing for people. And I said I was going to shut up, but here I go again.
Oh, you've gone quiet. I can't hear. Yeah.
Once they track me down.
Yeah.
I would say, without exaggerating, every other day, I'm getting contacted by somebody saying, hey, do you know people are using your pictures?
Oh, I know, and that drives me crazy. I just think it's awful. I really do. I mean, I can understand in some of them, I can understand why they do it. I mean, some people are being nice. Some people might think, oh, he doesn't know. I think by now they should know that you do know, but they think you don't know. And the thing is that what gets me is some women are quite aggressive.
So yes, and I think most of them that reach out to me, and I've had actually a lot of like nieces of their aunts will reach out, hey, are you talking to my aunt on different apps, in which I can appreciate, because like I would look out for my family as well. But then a lot of the women, most of them don't, because they're new to it, like you were 11 years ago. Yeah. They're getting scammed. They're finding out. They're angry, and they're wanting to let me know. And then, but some of them, though, you kind of mentioned, reminded me of it. I've had some crazy instances of women like not taking not know for an answer, but finding out it's me, and then
Mm-hmm.
them saying like, hey, well, I fell in love with you. I'm still in love with you. And it's like, it's not, you know, like, and I try, you know, I'm always trying to be nice about understanding, because they're going through a huge emotional thing there, you know. But I've had some crazy instances where they don't kind of stop. But, and I see that, you know, I send them to you as well. And I've sent them to you. I blocked them. And that's a struggle.
And explain things. And, you know, many women think, I'm madly in love with him, never met him. Yeah, but, you know, they spin a fantasy in their head.
Yes.
So you're then not real. You are real to them.
Yeah.
They spin a fantasy in your head, and then bang, you know, it's sort of like, it's like a bereavement, but you're somewhere else. They can see you, you know.
Yeah.
You're bereaved to them. And you know, some of them get awful, but you know, a lot of women think, oh, if I get talking to him, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're going to end up together. You know?
Right.
And you've got to burst that bubble.
So, yeah. And that reminds me, there's 2 points I kind of want to catch on. I can't speak fast enough on this because I never really do. That reminds me of, like, bursting the bubble. They think that, well, once we make contact, then something will happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do when they find out that they're being scammed. And this is in my notes in the bottom. When you tell them the same thing, and I do too, it's like, hey, just report them and block. Yeah. Stop engaging with them.
Yeah.
The scammers I'm talking about, once they figure out, like, hey, I know that you're a scammer, they want to keep engaging with them. And the scammers will do that all day long because they're still in there with that angle. You know what I mean? They're still going to scam. So stop engaging with them.
Stop it. The women, literally, the scammers won't stop it. The women have to.
Yeah.
Because if they don't stop it, the scammers will go on forever.
Because that's what they do, and they're in their element. Then they're having fun almost.
Yes, they are.
In the sixth sense, they are. Like, it's disgusting, and they're smiling on the other end, typing however.
Yeah, yes.
And the poor woman is just in grief, taking out all this emotion on the other end, thinking like, oh, I'm letting them have it, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. You're not hurting them at all.
Not at all.
You're just keeping yourself on the line.
You're just amusing them. You're just giving them some ammunition, because they know that you're upset about it. So they're quite happy with that. You know, I mean, they've upset you. They've probably got $10,000 off you, so they're not really bothered. Yeah. And they've upset you, and you've got to, you know, I do have to cover this because it's not racist to say that 95+% of scammers are from Nigeria and Ghana, West Africa corner.
Yep.
And so they've not really got nothing to lose there. They've got all your money, you know, so they don't need to back down.
Yeah.
And they will keep going. And we've got to try and get the woman's head away from your pictures to what they're really talking to, which is very difficult.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got to do it on a balance, because you've got to then tell them exactly what's happened. And the fact that they're not going to get their money back. Not ever.
Oh, yeah. And 2 more things here. Like, on that, a few of them have just not wanted to let go of that bone when they find it, like a dog biting in. They want to go Dick Tracy on them and, like, investigating and, like, track them down. Like, oh, I've called the FBI and the cops. And, like, I try to tell them, it's like, I try to tell them, it's like, I appreciate your effort and passion for this, but there's really nothing you can do.
No.
Other than block them, report and block.
The scammers know it.
Yeah.
They know there's nothing they can do. So they can go on, they can say what they want, they can make threats, which they do. You know, they just literally will not stop. So the woman's got to stop it. At some point, she's got to turn around and say, right, that's it. Big hell pants on. I'm going to stop this.
Yeah.
And they've got to take a grip of everything. And I know it's difficult because sometimes they're in a scam for years, believe it or not. And it is very difficult for them, but they've got to, there isn't any choice in a scam. There isn't a choice. It's got to be stopped. They will not stop it. You have to stop it.
Yes. And once you do stop it, though, it gets easier if it happens again. Like once you do that first time, then it's easier. You know, just block them, report them, and that's it. Don't,
because you're stepping back from it.
yeah,
You know, during the scammer's controlling. They're there
yeah,
morning, they're there noon, they're there night, they're there honey, they're babe, they do the, you know, the attention is
yeah,
the control. It's attention's not nice, it's control. But when
yeah,
you step back from it and they get out from that control, they can then start to see things differently. And they'll say things like, well, you know, there were times when I thought I might be talking to different people.
mm-hmm. Yeah, which is probably true.
They're dealing with a gang. They're not dealing with one. They're dealing with a gang. So yes, they are talking to different people. And when they step back, things start to drop into place.
I describe it to people as a racket. I was telling somebody, a guy that I work with tonight, I was talking to my boss on the phone, telling him about it, the upcoming show, and I was excited about it. And I was like, I told him, like, it's a racket, man.
Yeah. A very lucrative racket.
Yes. And it's something that's not going to stop. I remember when I first got to the recruiting office in Missouri, one of the first phone calls we had, I took the phone, nervous about answering anyway, just in general, you know, and another guy that was there for a couple of years heard me answer, and the way I was talking, he was like, give me the phone. It was somebody calling in saying, hey, I'm talking to so-and-so. They're saying they're military in Syria and stranded. And he was like, look, they're not real. Stop sending them money, blah, 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 and hung up the phone. I was just in shock. Like, you can't talk to people that way. He's like, dude, we get them like a dozen times a week. People call in. So pretty soon it happens. They would walk in our office and sit down across from me like we're talking now and be like, hey, I've been talking to so-and-so. They're in Africa and they're stranded and they're saying that the Army's not giving them any money and they're active duty. It's so very quick. Then I was talking to people, not rude or anything like that, but look, you know, like, then I got it. Then I understood the racket. They're used to it. And it's like, look, they are absolutely not. And it was tough. It's still tough now, you know, telling people, look, I'm sorry.
It is amazing what they come out with. My favorite this week has been, do you know that you left a general behind in Afghanistan? He's in the base in Kabul on his own, and he's only got a knife.
Wow.
So,
at least they left him a knife, I guess.
You did. If he finds any potatoes, he'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, they'll come out with anything.
So we're used to it, you know, and I've been in the military forever, and you've been dealing with this stuff, you know, and you have the law enforcement background from your husband, and you work.
And before that, I was Navy.
Okay, and so you're a Navy woman yourself.
So I came out of Navy and went to work for the police. So, you know.
Very well-rounded. And so we know these things, though. Like, we know all the lingo, and we know this and that. And watching TV shows, you know when something's full of crap and this and that. Yeah. But what people that have been 100% civilians their entire life, that have never lived on an Army base or close to the Navy or anything like that, they have no earthly idea about these things. I mean, we kind of joke about it, like, oh, we left a general behind, but like 100% civilians have no clue.
Because they'll say, I asked him questions and I was always questioning him, but he always had a good answer for it. Now, that's fine. He had a good answer for it. Mm-hmm. It was a completely ridiculous answer, but to her, he'd come back straight with an answer.
Yeah.
It was like, I had a query, I asked him about it, but he answered me. Mm-hmm. You know, and sort of, so they don't think about it, because at the end of the answer, it's honey or it's babe or I love you very much, honey.
And they're wanting it to be real. It's the denial. Denial is one of the hugest things that we deal with as human beings.
Yeah.
I mean, so how, okay, this is a good point here. Sorry, I don't mean to point at you. When I get excited, I'll point. And I'm trying to get away from the knife hand thing. How do we, like you and I now, like I got so good at spotting fake accounts. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So what are some ways that you can check to see if an account is fake?
If you've got an account come to you, I mean, you know, when I first discovered scams, they were going for women my age and over, elderly widows with a target. then I think with the advent of Instagram being so popular, they started just to pepper everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So on Instagram, you can't tell you're a widow, you can't tell you're divorced. But if you've got a cute cat, you're going to get a follow request. And so then a follow request on a not private account is accepted. You know, you bang it straight in. So on Instagram, it became very, very much easier because well, you were in. They could send out as many as they like, and you know, you were accepted straight away. And you can send a message very easily on it.
Mm-hmm.
A bit harder on Facebook. But the thing is that if they're going to use military, you'll get a profile, and it'll have 6 pictures in, or less, or 3. That's all been made in a 3-hour period.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got, you know, it's got like 3 posts following 372, you know, and you can see where they're sending more and more requests out.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't happen. You know, you've got to think of real life. It will not happen. And so, and another thing I do say, and I stand by this, and I say it a lot, if you are 65, you are not going to get a 30-year-old. So, you know, age is just a number.
Yeah.
Bloody big number when you're 65, you know? So, you know, you've put a bit of life, put a bit of real life online. You know, because I get, you know, beautiful gym buff men, under 30. But, you know, they'll spend with the generals. And it's amazing how many women will be impressed with the general. But look at the account, because if you look on any military account, if you look on any of your accounts, you've all got friends, you're banter, you're saying things, you're putting things, you experience in life, and you put them there.
Yeah.
On a fake account, it's blank. They might have, you know, some of the better ones might have a few more pictures, but there's nothing, no wording at the side. There's no sort of body that they work with, you know, giving a bit of banter and telling him he looks ugly in that shirt, which you have, you know, which you have. And then, you know, the other one is oil rigs. No man in an oil rig is actually sitting, going through, looking for a woman to contact. But if you don't notice them at first, if you start to talk to them, have your wits about you, you know, because it's hello, how are you, you know, well, why has it got anything to do with you, how I am? You don't know me, you know. And it's the conversation's stilted. And then what they like to do is they'll say to you, can I have your email address? And we'll go to Hangouts. Can I have your phone number? And we'll go to WhatsApp. Never, ever, ever give it out, because they've got it forever, especially that phone number. But they do that because they might have contacted 300 women, and they might have got 250 to answer them. So they'll get them all on Hangouts. So they've got a nice long list of women. That's when you become honey and baby. Because they don't need to remember who you are. They don't need to remember a name, so they can't get it mixed up.
And that's like an escalation, and it's evolving that relationship along. And
it moves very quickly. I mean, the average from hello to I love you is 3 days, and you know, you're married within a week. It just doesn't, you know, apply real life to online life. Somebody came to the door and knocked on your door, or my door, and sort of, I opened the door and I said, hello, pretty. I'd knock the door and probably be, you know, ringing the police.
Yeah.
And yet online you think, oh, that's very nice, come in. Your online life is a door, you're letting them in.
Yeah.
And once they get in that door, they'll do it. And they find out a lot about people. The chat is just a front. You know, when's your birthday? How old are you, honey? There's your date of birth. Where did you live before you live now? Security answers, you know. Just don't launch yourself into it.
Yeah.
And I will say, and I stand by, if you get a stranger sending you a follow request on Instagram or a friend request on Facebook, they'll be a scammer or a pervert.
Yeah. And I was joking to my buddy earlier today. He was joking. I was kind of ragging on him for not having that many followers. And he's saying, well, at least mine aren't all scammers. Mine are. And people, a lot of times when they contact me or send me a fake profile, whatever, they say, well, you need to put your account on private.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to have my actions dictated by scammers.
Not at all.
And the reason that I started my account was recruiting and to reach out to people for the Army. But now, you know, I've moved on and I'm doing different facets. So I leave it a public profile for the other endeavors that I'm getting into.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to switch mine to private just because I'm having an issue with scammers.
You can't go around comedy clubs and then have a private.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't really go, does it? You know.
Yeah.
And I don't see why you should. In
Yeah.
2021, it's the era of social media. Why should you not be as open as everybody else?
Yeah.
Just because a Nigerian might come along and steal your pictures.
Oh, we know there's no might about it. They're going to.
Yeah. They do it with me.
Yeah.
I am Keisha Mackenzie, which at my age there aren't any ladies called Keisha. Ocola. And they use me as I have a job agency, and they use me on a fake ID card with jobs.
Yeah.
And that's just the one they've ever done. It's the only picture I ever left open on my Facebook account.
And that's the one they use.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just don't like me, basically.
I tell you now, these days, though, I do appreciate the ones when they put some time and effort into it. Because a lot of them, it's just, sadly, I do. Because a lot of them, most of them are how you described before, like 3 or 4 posts, maybe 6 posts, all thrown up within an hour, you know, 3 followers following 300. Yeah. But there's some of them, though, that have been up for a minute. And it's like, oh, you put some effort into this. So I got to appreciate this a little bit. But still, there are things that you can see. And you peel back 1 or 2 layers. Yeah. And then there's still those signs, because there are some that are going to they may have 30 to 50 pictures. They've got a lot of posts up, you know. They've been done for a while, but you scroll to the beginning of it, and it's all like, you know, 12 pictures posted the same day.
Yes. Yes.
July 1st, July 1st, July 1st, July 1st. Then there's 6 more on July 2nd, July 2nd, July 2nd, July 2nd.
And there's not much on them. It's either something like, it's a nice day, or I'm with friends.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
There's nothing human in there. They've just
put
a lot of pictures in to make it look good.
Yep. Very mechanical, very robotic.
Yeah.
Nothing personalized.
And if you have got, everybody's got family and friends, everybody. And somebody's going to, you know, if you put a picture up, as I said before, you're going to have a bit of banter with people that you work with. You're going to have, you know, great auntie Edith comes along and says, oh, you've grown up really handsome. And you've got little things on there, tiny little things that are human and personal. And on a scammer account, you just never have that.
Yeah. Robotic comments. I was just about to comment on that. Bots. Like, my sister asked me this the other day, because she's new on Instagram. Every time I post one, especially when I'll post like fitness ones, working out or something, the first like 10 comments on that picture are, you know, hey, promote DM pictures, promote blah, blah, blah. And my sister was asking me about that. She's like, what's up with all of these requests for pictures? It's like, they're all robotic comments. They're all bots, just automatic. Yeah. Which is, I'm so used to it that I had to think for a minute, oh yeah, she's talking about all the normal crap. That's literally, I just expect the first 5 comments on there. Like, as soon as I post it, it's da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. I don't know why they do them. I really don't. I sort of am lost with a bit of those, because they do no good for anybody, unless they're pinpointing the fact that you've put another post up.
Like you mentioned before, though, just like in sales, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And they're blasting it out to so much that even if it's 5,000 attempts in a day, and they get that. Yeah. They're going to get a few.
And, you know, I remember 2 particular scammers. One, he was on a video on YouTube, and it was an Australian company. And they'd sort of set one up, and they, you know, were with the police when they arrested him. And they looked at his phone. And the woman who had reported him initially was the first name on his phone. On that phone, he had 81 contacts of women. 81 of the, every single one of those was a live scam ongoing at the time. And he was collecting money from all of those women, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just mind-boggling. And they don't know, you know, you could see, you know, I could have sent $100,000 and you can show the scammer my picture and he wouldn't know who I was because I would be one of those 81 women, you know. And scammers just don't care. They really, really just don't care. You know, they have a thing about phoning me. I don't know why. But they do like to phone me.
Because I'll tell you exactly why, and you know why too, because you're doing something about it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I've seen them in the comments already. A few of them. I know that your colleague has been monitoring, trying to do her best, but you know that we're being watched by them right now.
Yeah, they do. They do when I was on a weekend. You know, I mean, Pam and I have a little bit of a joke ongoing at the moment because we always say to people, well, you know, don't just ask him to have a selfie with a picture up. Ask him to do 2 fingers or 3 fingers. So in the week, we then go on the Yahoo Boys pages and they practice in doing Photoshops with 2 fingers up and 3 fingers. And this week, they'd actually managed to get a video with somebody waving on. So we know they're watching and we know that they practice. Oh, yeah. You know, it's Pam's target is to find something that they can't do. She will. But yeah, so we know they're watching us.
I have a favorite profile because people would, or I get the same things from like younger girls slide in my DMs and ask things, this and that, and they'll send a bunch of pictures that are, you know, scandalous or whatever, you know. And then my favorite, I don't want to say it now because they're watching. I'll DM you and tell you what my favorite profiling question is. I'll request 1 picture from them, and you know, I'll tell them, hey, cool, I'll willing to chat with you all you want if you send me this 1 picture, and then they never can, and so there we go. And then you know, I block them after that. But it's funny because it's just stops right away after I ask for 1 picture of them doing a certain thing with a hand motion, and they can't do it because they don't have one of it.
No.
So
no, I mean, they phone me and tell me that they're not African, that they really are American. And I'm listening and I'm thinking, my kids are not that bad. Really, they're not. They've got a broad African accent. Yeah, I'm from Texas. I've never been to Texas, but I know they don't sound like that.
You got to start recording these. You could start your own business, like a new channel with those.
I should, because yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah, and I guess, and going back to the numbers thing, you know, I don't know how many millions of people are in the United States or in your country or wherever, but the sad thing is, like, why they keep blasting out the bots and why they keep blasting messages, because it is the numbers game. And the sad truth is everybody's got to learn somehow, and until they do, they're victims. You know what I mean? I was a victim of it. I learned, you were. Now we know, and they're not going to get us, but there's still way more people out there that have no idea.
Absolutely. People don't talk about it. And, you know, I say to people, they'll say things like, I'd like to tell people, but I'm so ashamed. I don't tell people I've been addicted. I said, well, don't tell them. But tell them you never get, you know, I've been talking to somebody and this happened to them, or that they know about it. But just don't keep it quiet. Because keeping it quiet is absolutely what they want. You know, we want to shout it if, you know, if that's all they can do. You know, it's so prolific. It's because it's hidden. It's the biggest scandal. It's the biggest crime across the world that nobody knows about.
Yes, and I can totally understand that human emotion. You're gonna feel like after you are a victim, especially if you're taken advantage of for more than your time and emotional state and this and that. If you give money to people or something like that, and then you find out, you're gonna feel foolish.
Yeah,
that's natural. And again, like you said, the cameras count on that for you to stay quiet. But like you said, you have to help getting that word out.
Yeah, it's the only way. Scamming is not going to stop. It is too easy. It is too lucrative. You are not going to go and do any work, because no work that you can do can earn you a few $1,000s sat texting or, you know, being on a stolen laptop. So they're not going to work. They've found a niche. They've found something that they can make masses of money, and it's big money. You know, it's a, don't let them tell you that we only do it because we're poverty stricken. We only do it because, you know, we're starving. I've got sick mother and 57 siblings that I need to feed. It's not. It's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. They are making a lot of money because they're greedy and because they're lazy, and it's an easy way to make money. They are not going to stop it. There is nothing to stop them. We've got to stop them getting money.
So how do we do that?
Talk about it.
Yeah, and
in a way that does not reflect on anybody. You know, we've got to let people know that being a victim. I like the word victim because it means somebody's done something bad to you. You haven't done it to yourself. 100% of the people that come to us will at some point say, "How could I have been so stupid?" It's not stupid. They trusted and they got carried away with the emotions of the scam.
I like it. I don't like that word either. So what I just wrote down was they have not been victimized. They have been educated.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good way. Yeah. They know now. They know now. So other people have to know, because they might stay quiet and the two best friends might become scam victims.
Yeah. And they have been educated, and it's our obligation to educate others. And when this comes up randomly, that's why I don't know why I haven't reached out to you before now, because you've been so great to me for years since I reached out to you. And it's one of my friends the other day, she was like, "Hey, why don't you do a live with them?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's genius." And I reached out to you that night. But I talk to people all the time, and when this comes up, I'm like, "Oh yeah," because it's so normal to me and a normal part of my day. Like tonight, I was talking on the phone to my boss, and I was like, "Yeah, about the scammers," and he's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, let me tell you." You know, kind of tell him about the whole racket, how it works, this and that. And he's like, "Are you kidding?" Like, "Oh my gosh." Like, "Oh yeah, bro." When it comes up, people have no idea.
No, they don't. I mean, I'm sat here, my country is very small, and you know, whilst we're talking now, there'll be a few thousand women in the UK who are being scammed. Mm-hmm. In the US, there will be tens of thousands of men and women at this moment going through scams, going through an online relationship. And another thing where it turns dark, where it turns very, very dark, and it gets a little bit worse than just, "Hey babe." In America, they have an ulterior motive, and that is, you know, if I was a scammer and I was talking to you, it would be, you know, "Hey baby, and you know, how old are you and when's your birthday, and I really need to you know, would you give me your bank account because I really need to give you some money, or you know, I want to register you, so please can you give me your ID and your social security number." Magic.
Yeah.
And there has been, right across America, there has been fake unemployment claims because they need money meals for it. Dead easy to get a money meal because a few honeys and a few babies, and they get somebody to give them a bank account. And the social security number, name and address, date of birth, bang. And they're getting a few thousand in on it. So they're defrauding the entire country. They're defrauding your governments, your state governments.
Yeah.
And massive. It's big. It's not just little. You know, it's not just the "Hey baby" thing. It's massive. And then the women and the men who have been the ones who've given them this information, scammer goes off and spends the money. They're then contacted by the IRS, the FBI. When it's found out, scammer's gone without the money. He's gone. He spent it. You know, it's a bit of gold around his neck by that time.
Yeah.
But, you know, the victims have sometimes years of complications.
Yeah. And I've heard it a couple of times in the comments, and I think it's just not the correct word about them being lazy. They're far from lazy. They're quite motivated.
They are. I always call them lazy and greedy because I like to insult them.
Yeah, I like that. I like
oh, Linus. Hi. Basically, I'll stick with lazy in for my way, because basically they're sat down and they're texting.
I'm here with you now. I like it.
You know, they're not going out and doing a man's job.
That's true.
You know, to me, a man is the breadwinner of the house. He goes out to work every day and he gets a wage. They're doing that in a very, very simple way. You can imagine a dozen of them sat in a hotel room. You know, they've got their champagne, they've got their brandy, and you know, they're doing their hustling. Yeah, of course but that's about, they work shifts, because obviously they scam from Hawaii to New Zealand, so you know they've got the whole world to cover, so they work shifts. So they're very busy. They're very busy, sat down texting. You know, so.
Yep. A couple words that just came to mind with that when we were talking about it was they're weak cowards.
Yes, absolutely. That is the best way of describing they are, because they're hiding. They're hiding behind somebody's stolen pictures. And how bad you've got to be so ashamed of who you are that you've got to get somebody else's pictures so that you can go and do that. Yeah.
And so I think, again, we need those people that have been educated through these scammers, that now know how it goes firsthand. They've got to be the brave, strong ones to stand up to educate.
Because the ones that do come forward and say something, the ones that are the bravest of the victims, they all say it empowers them in the end, because you know they've had it inside them, and sort of, you know, they do feel a bit, oh, I was so stupid. I let it happen. Didn't happen to them. They let it happen, and you've got to get over that. You know, you've got to get that. You know, something bad's happened. You don't want them hating themselves as well.
Yeah.
So you can bring that out and give them a bit of strength, give them a bit of empowerment, and when they do come out, and if they start to tell people, you know, it is such a massive thing. You know, it's a huge thing.
Yeah,
and for everybody else.
Yeah, that's big. I think empowered. Like, don't feel like a victim. You were a human being. We've all done stupid, idiotic things. We've all been victims. We've all taken advantage of people, whether you want to admit it or not. Human being, we are not the greatest of creatures.
We're all human. We've done bad things. We've had bad things done to us, and nobody can say anything else.
No, that's absolutely correct.
Yes.
So we need those that have been educated through the weak, cowardice, lazy scammers out there. Yeah. If you've been educated by them, you've learned firsthand, we need you to step up and stand out and own it, become empowered, and educate those that have not.
And I will say one thing to the scammers that are watching, and the scammers who might watch in the future. You may be rich, you may have got tens of thousands of dollars from people. You may have bought champagne, you may have bought a car, you may have bought gold. You're stuck in Nigeria. You are not in the United States. You are not in the United Kingdom. So enjoy it, but you're stuck over there.
Yeah, and they're not going to, and that was good. And they're not going to maintain what they have. They're not going to keep their riches. They're not going to keep their chains, their champagne. The champagne's going to go flat. They're going to have to pawn their necklaces. They're not going to maintain any short-term wealth that they may have. They
don't. It's not like they do anything. You know, you can see pictures of them, and they live in the shanty towns. Now, I've been to Africa, not to Nigeria. I've been to Ethiopia, and I've seen the way they live, and it's awful. I mean, I don't like it. It's shocking to see. But you know, you see them in the. I love looking at their profiles, and they've got like an old shanty house, and you go in and they've got a 65-inch television on the wall.
Yeah.
So they're not improving their living conditions.
No, they're not improving anything around them. They're not improving themselves, their family, their community, their country. They're not improving anything.
This is why it is total greed. It's the minute satisfaction.
That's why they're the weak coward. Yeah. And it's the same as, like, it's a loose comparison, but it's kind of the same as, you know, the poor people that win the lottery here, they very quickly become poor again because that's what they know.
Yeah.
You know? Absolutely. So, and say that we've influenced some people tonight that have been educated, they want to help. What's the first step that they need to do?
Come and talk to us. We like people to, and also, you know, we'd love if anybody knows anybody on a local radio station, on a local newspaper, anybody that can get an article about it anywhere. You know, I mean, I'm sat in the northeast of England. I've been on Wisconsin and Boston television. Not many people in my town can say that. Yes, I can keep on blaming all Nigerians because you don't know what I know. It's not all Nigerians, but it is all West Africans. Yeah. So don't tell me that I can't keep blaming them because I know what I know. And I'm sorry, with all due respect, you don't. So I don't say anything lightly. But, you know, if we can get, if anybody can get anything in an article in a newspaper, an article on an online blog or on anything that is going to let anything from 6 to 600 people see it, because people, when they see anything on you know, we get them saying, oh, I watch Dr. Phil all the time, I never thought it could happen to me. Well, that's fine, but you might watch Dr. Phil, but then if somebody contacts you, it might just ring a little bell in your brain and you might think, oh, I've heard of that, I think that's one of those scammers.
Yeah. And on that, I heard on TV or other news. I learned this phrase. I picked up this phrase a long time ago. Check your source.
Yeah.
Because I like to, I will verbally entangle with people for sport, but I will not open my mouth about something unless I know, like you said, unless I know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to open my mouth with it, and I'll be able to state my source. So if you want to tell me something, then I'm going to say, okay, well, state your source.
Yes.
So
I mean,
you know what you're talking about.
As I say, I've been doing this for 11 years now, really intensely for 8.
Yeah.
And you know, Sandy's just said on that, we know. Mm-hmm. We know where people have sent money to. We know they contact us. We know where the bankers are. We know where the big boys are. We know where the little boys are. We know where the money's going to. We know where it's all coming from. So I don't say it lightly.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, you know, and I'll stand by not being a racist. I do not like African scammers. That does not make me a racist. If there were Yugoslavian scammers, I wouldn't like them. If there were American scammers, I wouldn't like them.
Yeah.
You know, to me, where they come from is a fact, not.
Yeah.
Not anything to influence what I feel about them. It's what
I agree, and I think anybody with any rationale knows that. It's just something that anybody else can take a jab at to try to ruffle feathers. Anybody with any sense knows that 100%. So step 1, being able to do something. You said we can feel free to reach out. They can contact you and say, hey, I want to help.
I mean, you know, if anybody dares come out and tells this story, you know, we do live chats with people, and they are so well received because other people can look at them and think, oh yeah, that happened to me. Yeah. And it impacts them.
And that can help empower. Like you, like, absolutely. Sound cheesy at all, but like you're not alone.
Exactly.
There are so many out there, and that's what's incredible. Like as soon as you even can muscle the words to say like, hey, this happened to me. Hey, me too. And that's
the good thing about scams is the fact that I'll send something to you that you might actually enjoy, because I've got a playbook. I've got a full scammer script of all sorts of things, to cover lots of eventualities. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, but one thing that we do know, and it's good for us, is the fact that they use formats, they use scripts.
Oh yeah.
So that they've all the scams are pretty much the same. So if you get a victim who is listening to another victim, her scam is the same as that one.
Mm-hmm.
With little variations, but not much, you know, and that helps as well.
It's sales. Yeah, it's sales. These dudes are on a script.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done sales, and it's very similar, and you're gonna hear it like no doesn't mean anything to them.
No, not at all. They ignore it completely. They'll plow on through.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're trained to do that. They're rehearsed to do that. They've practiced in doing that. So it's sad. And so I think that's a good thing that is not only spreading. So reach out to you guys. Know that you're not alone. You're not the first one this has happened to. You're not the last one this has happened to.
No.
There are others out there that are willing, you know, to stand with you. We need you to spread the word to anybody you can. Like you said, to one person at a time. Doesn't matter. Yeah. And I think that if we can I would love to see that script. And I think that
I'll send it to you.
That's great to know too. The more that we can get that out there.
Yeah.
So I'm not familiar with you said you guys are on YouTube also.
Yeah. Just basically the little videos that we do, we put on there. Once I realized that it was popular and people watched it, I'll do anything. I'll put anything anywhere that will just attract a bit of attention. We've got 24,000 followers on YouTube as well. That's amazing. So, you know, we are getting the word out there. We are getting people to see what we're putting out.
Which is fantastic. And again, I don't know why I haven't reached out to you guys before to help out and how I can, because you guys are so phenomenal to me. And I mean, I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't just say that.
Just how it's a lot. You know, that there is, well, no, there's not a lot of us, but there is a very good, strong core group of us.
There is, because I can tell you that, like, anytime, and it's all the time that I'm sending fake accounts, is immediate. Like, you guys are always online.
Yeah. And
it's just like the scammers. I love it. You guys are running harder than they are. But as soon as I send a fake profile to you guys, you're like, boom, it's reported.
Yeah.
I know how it goes now. It's great. I send it to you. You say it's reported. I say, thank you. You like my message. You know, I like that. And it's just like every time it's like clockwork. So that's fantastic. Maybe we can start doing something on here more often. I'll look into it, try to put something together. Maybe we can start once a month or whatever. We'll have a kind of a brief agenda. Maybe it doesn't have to be this long, but we can start talking about the scripts that they put out. We can discuss those more.
We've got a problem, Dustin, because you can talk for America and I can talk for England. So, you know, cutting down to a very short talk might be difficult.
And plus, we're both very shy and not talkers, so that's.
Of course. Little wallflower that I am, yes.
I know it. I think we can definitely go from here, though. I love to help. I love so much what you guys are doing, and I've been taken advantage of myself. You know, we know how it feels, and you can't. You know, you're not going to appreciate it until you have been. So it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, so if you've been educated, I like that terminology, then don't keep all that crap inside and feel bad about yourself. Turn it around and push it out, doing something about it.
Exactly. And I mean, it's the only way. And I do use the word empowered because it's what people have said to me.
Yes.
Once they've done it, they feel better about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the people, I've met some amazing people through this too. They're watching tonight. I've seen them in the chats. I've developed some great relationships through this from people reaching out to me. They're like, hey, are you on blah, blah, blah? Are you talking to so-and-so or da-da-da? I'm like, look, no, it's kind of I'm so used to it now. It's like, no, that's not me. Block and report them. Sorry you've had to deal with that. But then I've talked to them in other senses on Instagram, this and that, and developed friendships. So it's like there's some amazing people out there. And this is an incredible community that you guys have developed. And just the strength that you provide to other people that need it is incredible.
We're always there. And I think that's what makes us strong. Because, you know, people can come to us and we're there to be talked to.
Mm-hmm. All the time, 24 hours a day.
Report to us, but people can come as victims. They can come with questions, Facebook or Instagram, and we're there to be talked to.
Yeah.
And that's what we aim for. Exactly what we aim for.
Yeah, and you nail it. It's incredible. I think more lives will help. I'm certainly more than willing to do whatever I can to continue to help.
Brilliant.
So I appreciate it. If anybody's I've tried to keep up. I know that you've got.
I know I keep it as well. You start to read the things.
I know, but I know that your colleague, she had said that she's going to keep an eye out on things. So we've got Joe who you usually have when you contact, and we've got Sandy on here as well. So perfect.
They're our security staff as well.
Yep, I love it. I've tried reverse. My sister tried to help me out doing the reverse image searches.
Yeah.
I've tried that.
No, we do. Don't want us to get cut off. We do something called PimEyes, which is a really, really good site, but it's not free, but we've got subscriptions to it.
Okay.
So if anybody wants a reverse image search doing, come to us and we'll do it for free, because there is somebody on Quora who charges $50 per search, and there's somebody on Instagram who charges $300 to investigate who you're talking to. We do exactly the same, much better, for free. Hello, is one of ours as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So come to us.
So if you guys are watching on here, obviously you can get a hold of them on Instagram. Just reach out directly to them. Fantastic staff. What are some other ways they can reach out to you?
Well, Facebook and Instagram, we're there.
Okay.
There's a tiny little gap on Facebook that you might have to wait for me to get up in the morning after Sandy and Sophie's gone to bed. But other times, we're there. Instagram, we're there most of the time. That's easy. Scamhatersunited@gmail.com. I do on scamhatersunited.com, but I can't ever remember how to use their Gmail. So I just, it's not all the time. I answer that when I can, so instantly come to the social media, but we're there. You can put a comment on the Google blog that we've got. You can put a comment on there. I check those every day, so they all get answered. So wherever you're going to leave something, we will answer you.
And that's true. I mean, you guys are fantastic. I can't say enough good things about you. I'm glad we finally got to link up in a live chat.
Yeah, to do it again.
Absolutely.
Regular.
So we'll start to wind down here. If you guys have any questions, thanks for all your comments. I appreciate it. And thank you, Ruth, and thank you for your people, what you guys do, and joining me. Again, I just cannot say enough good things about all of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We need a bit of appreciation sometimes.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you guys are fantastic. And again, that's why when my friend Jojo, I think Jojo mentioned to me the other night, she's like, hey, why don't you reach out to them? Because I was starting to schedule some live shows to line some people up. And I was like, why have I not reached out to them before? Yeah. So I will definitely look at some things. Maybe we can, once a month or something like that. I will certainly start putting more of you guys in my stories. So
I'll stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning once a month. Just
and then
just but nobody else, just for you.
I certainly appreciate it. And I can certainly spend my time and join you guys anytime you need. So we will certainly talk after this and get something lined up. If you guys have any ideas of things that you think may help from us or other things that we should try, let us know, let me know, let them know. It would certainly
I would like you to come and do a live chat on our page as well. So that we can, you introduce to our page as well, which will be really good. So we'll do that on our page.
Yep, absolutely. I like it. We will have to do a test run beforehand. I've had issues to where if you go live, I've tried to join people and it won't let me. It says that I need to update, but I'm updated all the way. So we'll give a test run before we do it, though. Yeah,
because I had a bit of trouble tonight, but then I got on. So
okay,
all right.
Perfect. Good.
All right. So I shall say good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
You have a good day.
You too. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for joining. You listen in the future. Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate it.
I will say goodbye. Bye now.
Bye.